So if I quickly introduce myself, I'm Lara. Most of you know me from the Dyer's Hill Sanctuary. I've been doing this for the Tribe of Wild Roses, just to try and get women feeling a bit better about themselves, feeling a bit more inspired, a bit more heard, a bit more seen. So I wanted to bring in wonderful guest speakers, the experts that we've got around us, to come and give you the answers that you need or give you the support that you need, because things like this, menopause especially, it can be quite a lonely time. So it's nice to know that there are other women around you, and we've got experts like Julia who are available to talk to if needed. So yeah, I'll pass over to Julia. Julia, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, yes, my name is Julia Tyrer, and I am a nutrition coach who's supporting women in menopause and women who have gone through surgical menopause to live their best lives and reclaim their joy, vitality and energy. So
Yeah, and she's so passionate. It's wonderful. You get her started talking and it's
yeah,
just like,
talk all day.
oh,
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
yeah.
It's brilliant. So the session's going to be about an hour, and we'll save some time at the end for questions. But I have a whole list of questions for Julia.
He has. So if we're still here at midnight, it's Laura's fault, yeah?
Yeah. So I think the best place to start, Julia, is your personal experience with menopause and how you
Yeah.
came to doing what you do.
Yeah, so my journey is a story of two parts, really. So I went through perimenopause, much like most people do, and I think I had quite a fairly easy time, knowing what happened afterwards and listening to other ladies' stories that I get told now quite often. And I got the hot flushes. I can remember I was in my early 40s, although I had my last daughter, my youngest, at 40. Then a couple of years after that, I think it started. And I remember just getting so hot and flustered in the morning. And that you get ready. And I was in my 20s when I had my older two children, and I used to rush around like a mad thing, getting them ready in the morning for school and everything. And with my youngest one, it would take me twice as long to get out of the house. It used to drive me nuts. And I used to, part of that was me standing outside. Luckily, I had high fences, standing outside my back door in just my knickers and my pants doing this.
Wow.
Because I'd get too hot. So I couldn't rush because I'd get really hot. And when you get really hot, one of the things that would happen to me was you get a bit agitated and you are not as patient, because that's what the hot flush does to you. So I went through perimenopause with all those symptoms, and then I wasn't sure. My bleeding had stopped in my late 40s, and I wasn't sure whether I was actually in menopause, gone through menopause, because I was still on contraception. So that's one of the other things that happens if you're on contraception. You're not 100% sure whether you have gone through menopause, and it can mask the symptoms and help you a little bit, and it could possibly make them slightly worse. So it's good to talk to your doctor about all that if you think you're going through perimenopause. So we decided we'd wait till I was 55. I'd come off the contraception, and then they'd do the tests, because most women have gone through finished menopause by the time they're 55. However, when I was 55, I had a hysterectomy, a total hysterectomy with my ovaries removed as well. And the doctor said, "Oh no, you will have gone through menopause. You'll be fine. You won't need anything. Let's see how you go." Anyway, 2 weeks later, I was having the worst hot flush. So I just said to Laura, I woke up in the middle of the night, absolutely dripping wet through. And then I started with all the menopause symptoms. So I had no periods, obviously, no womb. So I still don't know whether I'd gone through menopause before this or not. But then I had brain fog, forgetting things, bumping into things, a weirdest feeling like I was going to fall downstairs when I was coming down the stairs, like you'd missed a step. You get a bit dizzy, achy joints, mood swings were terrible. I felt like I was going crazy. Everything was a big deal. Life was a struggle. And I had a 14-year-old daughter at the same time. So that wasn't very helpful. one going through puberty and the other one going through menopause. It must have been a nightmare in our house. But I also had digestive issues, and this is where I discovered the help. And this is what led to my road to becoming a nutrition coach and supporting other women through menopause, and especially surgical menopause. So I had digestive issues and I had really painful stomach, and the doctors were ignoring me, and they really didn't know what it was or what to do about it. And it was driving me nuts. And then one day, I think it was on Facebook, I saw an advert from one of the country's top nutritionists, Amanda Hamilton, and she was advertising a women's wellness 6-week program. So I joined that. And I actually listened to her and I thought, oh my God, yes, this is what I need. And I did everything. So every week she'd talk about something, we'd ask her questions, and other women would ask her questions, which is really good. It being in a community of women going through similar things, I found that we were all doing similar things about a similar age. So I'd go away and I'd do all these things every week and implement most of the things that she was talking about, and come back, ask questions, do some more. And I actually got a lot better, and it really helped me. And I'd put on quite a bit of weight as well, going through menopause. So I'd lost 3.5 stone in 8 months.
Wow.
So I was like, yes. And at the end of that course, Amanda says, oh, I also have an academy and I teach women to be a nutrition coach. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do that, because actually I don't want any other woman to go through all this when there's something out there that's so simple and so easy that can really help them. They just don't know about it. So that is why I help women and how I got here.
Wow, what a journey as well. What a journey to go through.
Was. And I think it is. Menopause is a journey. It's not something that you should actually be scared of. You know, you've all gone through puberty. And I'm going to preempt some of your questions now, Laura. But we've all gone through puberty. And when you're in puberty, you're really excited, aren't you? I don't know if you can remember that far back. But you want to be an adult. You want to do the grown-up things, you know. You want to put your makeup on. You get, you know, thinking about boys. You want your independence and your brain and your hormones, and you're made to do that. But when you get into like menopause, there's this myth thing that you're gonna be an old lady at the end of it. And I can see, I don't know how old everybody is here, if anybody's gone through menopause and is postmenopausal. Yeah. So Antoinette has just waved at me there. So people think you're going to be an old lady, you're going to be past it, you're going to be walking with a walking stick, whatever. And it's not like that at all. It's a journey, and you come out of it at the other end. And yeah, you're not exactly the same person, but basically you are. You're just a better version. Would you agree, Antoinette? A better version of the person you were before. And I don't know about you, but I have this thing where, you know, I'm not going to put up with things anymore. I just have a different outlook on life. And you think, life's too short to do that. I'm not going to put up with that anymore. No. And you just become this better version of you. And I so much look forward to the rest of my life. And I'm not an old lady. And
Brilliant. So
yeah,
it's almost like a gift in a way.
it is.
It's giving you the gift of giving no fucks.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. You know, and so other cultures have some fabulous names for this part of life, and they believe, especially like the Maori tribes, they believe that when a woman goes through menopause, it's like a rite of passage, and then she becomes the wise woman of the community, and everybody goes to her for advice and help and everything like that. And they treat it a lot differently, and they do talk about it. They don't sweep it under the carpet and hide it like we do.
Yeah.
So,
and that's such a shame as well that it's viewed as a taboo, because over half of the population go through it. So it's kind of like, why are we not talking about it? I've made it my mission at every yoga class or every group I'm in, I will mention it. And the relief and the sigh that you hear from the women around you, like, oh, here we go. Okay.
yeah.
There's this space. Brilliant. So what piece of advice would you give to women who are just starting their menopause journey?
So I think the biggest thing is to do some research, find out what the symptoms are. And I have done a little thing that I can send you, Laura, and you can send these lovely ladies. and I think it's got just over 30 symptoms. Now, they are not all the symptoms. There are some very weird and wacky things out there that people experience, because every woman, look at us here, not one of us looks the same. We're all different, and we'll all have unique experiences, and things like culture, race, lifestyle, perhaps where you live, location. There's all sorts of things that will dictate your menopause journey, and it'll all be different. We'll all have a different experience, and I'll have a different experience to my sister, which I have. She didn't have a hysterectomy. You know, you'll have a different experience to your best friend. So you'll probably have different symptoms and in different severity. But the biggest piece of advice is do your research, find out what those symptoms are, have a look on my list, and don't think you're going crazy, because you're not going crazy.
Yeah.
So, and don't rush off to your doctor thinking you've got Alzheimer's or early dementia either, just because you've got brain fog. Because actually your brain goes through menopause just like your the rest of your body. So just like your ovaries, your reproductive system's going through menopause, your brain does that as well. So that's why you get some of the mood swings, anxiety, brain fog, so forgetfulness. There's one story I'll tell you now, from a lady, and it's funny, but it's not really funny. She drove her children, because women are also having children later in life now. So you're going through menopause and you might have children at school still, where once upon a time they'll probably be grown-up children by then. So she drove her children to school, saw a friend, started chatting, walked all the way home with her friend, got home and thought, my car's been stolen. Where's my car?
Oh,
And then she realised, oh no, I'd left it at school, and she felt so silly.
no. No.
It's quite funny, but I think it wasn't at the time, but it's
Yeah.
a funny story. Yeah, so she thought she'd left, she'd walked there. She completely
Yeah.
forgot because she was just so busy talking to a friend.
Yeah.
So, but you're not going mad. It is just your hormones changing.
And I suppose if you've done your research, you've got your symptoms ready, you're armed then when you go to the
You
doctor
are.
to be like, this is
Yeah,
what I'm experiencing.
yeah,
You have to take me
yeah.
seriously.
Yeah,
This
and
can't be
then
palmed off.
he won't try and issue you with antidepressant because he thinks you're depressed, because you'll be saying, oh, this has happened, and this has happened, and you won't be going for one thing, it's just things not being quite right, not feeling the same. And that's all when your hormones start to fluctuate. And they don't just there's not a little graph, and they don't just go like this. It does a bit of this. So I think that's why you experience like the mood swings and the anxiety and all the different things, because your hormones are actually fluctuating throughout that period of time, until eventually you go through menopause, and it doesn't disappear altogether, but your estrogen, um, the type of estrogen that your ovaries produce obviously is greatly reduced. But there's other parts of your body that produces estrogen, and your testosterone and progesterone, your body will then make that into a type of estrogen as well. So you've still got estrogen in your body and in your brain. It just is a different type, and it takes a little while for that fluctuation to settle down.
So we've got a question that's just come up, which is thank you for putting your question in. Just putting this here now, as otherwise I'll forget. What about if we already suffer with certain symptoms such as brain fog, dizziness, anxiety, fatigue due to existing long-term conditions? Is it always already worse at certain times of the month? It's always already worse at certain times of the month as it is. I worry about that it will get 10 times worse during menopause. Do you have any knowledge of this?
So I have heard people talk about this. I've not had a particular client with this. It all depends on the particular medical condition, on what you can do and what you can't do. But in general, I would say it could be just the same as before your menstrual cycle. So if it gets worse, it could be like that. But there are things you can do to help, and this is where I'm saying it depends on the medical condition. But in general, if you eat a if you get rid of all processed food and sugar from your diet, I think you'll be good, because basically that's what I did. So I cook from scratch, I cook real food. I don't buy processed ready meal foods. I look at sugar labels for sugar. I make sure that there's no more than 5 grams per 100 grams of sugar in any product that I eat. And I feed my gut, my good gut bacteria, and I make sure that's really healthy. And I eat foods that I know have got phytoestrogens in to support my my estrogen levels. You have to eat a bit every day, because obviously that doesn't stay in your body. So if you're doing all those things, you have good hygiene, you have good sleep hygiene. So there's routines around sleep that I teach, routines around going outside. And one of the biggest things that you can do, and I think if you've got those health conditions and you're having that at the moment, this is, well, everybody should be doing this, but in menopause, is having time for you. You need self-care time. It's 100% non-negotiable. Super isn't, because if you don't, you will probably go crazy. It really, really does help to get those symptoms under control. But I would talk to people, find some help, talk about your health condition, and work with somebody like myself who can work it out with you and create a plan for you and support you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Julia.
Because it might, I don't know, it might help it. So once you've gone through menopause, you know, it might be better.
Yeah, fab. Fab. So you've kind of touched on quite a lot of what we were
Sorry, yeah,
gonna.
I
No,
said
but
that,
it's
didn't I? I said
brilliant.
that's
No,
what
it's
would happen.
fab. It's a really good introduction, actually. So with managing the emotional symptoms like mood swings, anxiety, and depression, is there anything that women can do to help with that without having to take the antidepressants? And
Yes. So good self-care routines. Take time for yourself, you know, good sleep hygiene. So don't be on your computer just before you go to bed. And she's on a webinar now with you on the computer. My bedtime is usually 9 o'clock, because my body clock wakes up dead early in the morning. So I'm going to have to go
sorry,
to bed
Julia.
late tonight. It's fine. So yeah, as a rule, good sleep hygiene, and reduce the sugar. Do not eat sugar within a couple of hours of going to bed, because that can actually give you anxiety in the middle of the night, wake you up. And if you're not getting enough sleep, then obviously it makes everything worse, and you'll make poorer food choices, and it'll be a big circle. So yeah, so if you're experiencing the depression, anxiety, mood swings, all those sorts of things, that is because your head, your brain, also goes through menopause. There's a part of your brain that produces estrogen, and so it goes through menopause as well, as I've said. So you need to support that. So if you're eating foods rich in phytoestrogens, that will help. If you're feeding your good gut bacteria and eating lots of fiber and prebiotics, probiotics, because your vagus nerve runs next to your stomach, and your stomach wall is permeable. And if you're not eating the right things, it'll have thinned out, and then you get leaky gut, and all that stuff that's coming out. Obviously, your vagus nerve is soaking it up and taking it to your brain. So you want to eat healthily, and yeah, get rid of the sugar, and that will really help. And just make sure perhaps you do some meditation.
Brilliant.
And just talk to everybody around you, your family, how they can support you, so they can help you as well. And they understand, because the anxiety is, I've got mine under control now, but it is quite scary and weird, because you can feel like, you know, something really bad has happened or is going to happen, but it's not.
Mhm.
And you'll think, I'm okay, nothing bad's going to happen.
Yeah,
But you know, so but by eating the right foods and having good sleep hygiene and some really good self-care, that'll really help.
fab. And what kind of supplements could go hand in hand with that?
So I don't recommend, the only supplements I recommend to my clients are vitamin D and omega-3.
Okay.
Vitamin D, because unless anybody out there lives in Spain or any of those nice warm countries with lots of sunshine, we live in the northern hemisphere. And well, even the people in Australia, because they put suntan lotion on and they don't get enough vitamin D, crazily enough, because they don't go outside without it on. But you need to have like at least half an hour's worth of sunshine on your skin without sun protection to make vitamin D. So vitamin D supplement, because that helps you absorb lots of other minerals, vitamin C and calcium. So you need enough vitamin D and also omega-3, because
Okay.
omega-3 will really help with things like joint pain,
Right.
which you need. And also because in our diet, we don't get enough vitamin omega-3. We get quite a lot of omega-6, and we can be quite out of balance with those two micronutrients. So those are the only two I really recommend, but there are a list of things that you can take that some people find helpful, other people don't. Now, there's not masses of research on this. That's the other thing with menopause. There is not a massive research
Mhm.
on a lot of this at the moment. So there's things like black cohosh. Now that can really help some women with your hot flashes. You were mentioning that, Lara. Yeah, that
Yep.
can help as well. But I would be really careful if you are on thyroid medication or statins, and I wouldn't take it because it can interfere with those two things.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah, what else? You can take magnesium. So if you're having sleep problems, magnesium can help with sleep. That can be really helpful. And I don't think there's any side effects on that
Amazing.
I've found. Um, I will mention that quite a lot of the menopause supplements have got soy isoflavones in. And if you have got thyroid issues, you should be really careful with soy. So I would avoid anything with soy in as a supplement. And if you want to eat soya, then just twice a week, because it can interfere with the medication as
Okay.
well, and interfere with that. There's also St. John's wort. Some
Yes.
people take that, and again, avoid it if you've got thyroid problems. So basically, if you've got thyroid problems, just stick to omega-3 and vitamin D. I'll put my hand up, that is me. Yeah. However, there's a load of food you can eat, apart from soy, only twice a week. So you can eat beneficial fats, so olive oil, avocados, flax seeds, raw unsalted nuts and seeds, all those types of things, nut butter. What else? I've got a long list of all sorts of things. Anything like that is really good. Cruciferous vegetables, yay! They're really, really good, and they've got isoflavones in, and they have got something in them called a phytochemical. I've not wrote it down. See, I usually write it down so I can remember. And actually, broccoli is amazing, and it will also protect you from getting cancer,
Oh,
because it has a chemical in it that your body uses, that when a cell, I don't think it's a cell, but it's a little organism in the cell, could become cancerous, this organism makes a chemical that will fight it and starve it. And so it dies, basically. So, and if you can eat it raw, but again, if you've got thyroid issues, don't eat raw cruciferous vegetables. You have to cook them.
no.
But they're still really good. You just have to eat more of them to protect yourself from cancer. So that's a good one. To
Broccoli's the
have.
superstar then.
Yeah.
But we need to be
I
eating
like
every meal.
broccoli.
Good.
Yeah. Good.
Yay for
That's good.
broccoli.
Yay. Broccoli is fabulous. It's a superfood. Omega-3 rich foods like your fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, berries, blackberries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, any of those things, they're really good. Whole dairy products, so goat's milk, sheep's milk, cow's milk, as long as it's whole, organic, yogurt made from that, or and soft cheeses, not the hard cheese,
Okay.
just soft cheeses, eggs, yeah, and then things rich in zinc like meat and fish.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And I think it's nice to hear what you can eat rather than what you shouldn't. Because if you focus too much on what you shouldn't eat, you get really depressed.
Basically, anything that's made in a factory, don't eat it.
Yeah.
More or less. Apart from peanut butter. You can have peanut butter.
Oh, yeah, peanut butter.
But and anything that's got lots of sugar in it. And if it's 0% fat yogurt, you want full fat yogurt, please. Because what they did when they took the fat out, they had to put something in to make it taste nice and put sugar in it. So usually, and it's also very, very processed. So the least processed and no sugar and not made in a factory, really. I know yogurt's probably made in a sort of a factory, but
We'll allow it.
yeah, try and look for healthy things. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So we've got our diet on track then.
Yeah.
We're working on our sleep. We're reaching out to people, talking to our communities so we don't feel so alone. We know what everyone's going through. We can support each other. What would you say in terms of exercise?
Oh, definitely. So I think, Laura, you mentioned that you might be around 35.
Yes.
Yeah. So your muscle mass has just started to reduce. So from the age of about 35, you start losing your muscle mass. And your metabolism is in your muscle mass.
Right.
So you start losing your metabolism. So it's really crucial to do some resistant exercises. So the Pilates is really good, strength training, weightlifting, believe it or not, to keep that muscle mass, and at any age you can just start. So to improve your muscle mass, because you'll keep your metabolism and you'll stop that weight, especially around your belly. So in menopause, you get belly fat.
Yeah.
Because nature is a bit cruel to us in that way. So, when you go through menopause, it's like you don't have to be sexy anymore. You're not that baby making machine. So you don't have to be appealing to the opposite sex anymore. So if you can remember all cavemen running around, you don't have to look attractive to them because you're no longer a baby making machine. So that's why you change shape. So when you go through menopause, you can start putting weight on around the middle if you're not careful.
Okay. So we're looking at resistance training, Pilates, slow weighted.
Yeah, and just like walking. So lots of women who already exercise and perhaps they run, perhaps they go to the gym and do spinning and whatever they do, aerobics classes, and they'll start putting weight on and they'll start doing more of it because they think, oh, I just need to do more exercise. And it doesn't work because when you get to menopause, your body is obviously going through a lot. It's got a lot of pressure because its hormones are going up and down. It's changing. So we need to be a bit gentler and a bit kinder to our little bodies. And just if you do a lot more lower impact. So walking for 30 minutes a day. And you don't even have to do the 30 minutes all at once. You can do them in 10-minute bursts. Is better than jogging, like for miles. It'll be a lot better, and your resistance training. So anything like that. Yoga's really good because also it helps you relax and it helps you stretch. But any sort of resistance training, swimming is fabulous. exercise.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, and that makes
definitely.
me
And
happy.
it also helps your mind as well. So doing it will really help your mental health as well.
Yeah.
Just getting outside in the fresh air and just experiencing nature, just go for a walk, that really helps.
Well, you're getting your vitamin D then as well, aren't you?
You are, yeah. As
So
long as you can roll your sleeves up and it gets a bit too cold and you've no sunshine, you've had it.
oh, brilliant. So we've kind of touched on all the things that you can do that aren't medication wise. So
Yes,
I think one of the hot topics when it comes to menopause is HRT, which can be a lifesaver for some. And there's quite you were mentioning earlier before this about the myths that
yes.
that around HRT, because it's changed so much, hasn't it?
It has. There was the end of the 1990s, beginning of the 2000s, a women's health study done. And so somebody came along and they decided to study women that were taking hormone replacement therapy. But what they did is they studied women that were over 60. So they'd all probably gone through the menopause. So they weren't even menopausal or perimenopausal, they were postmenopausal. And some of them had just started taking HRT, which is not a good thing to do. And then they had some results that weren't true. But whoever organised the study and the marketing people said, oh no, it's too late now. We're going to go to press with this. You're too late. You can't change what you want to say. So they published the facts that taking HRT gave women breast cancer and so scared everybody off HRT. Plus their HRT then, we've talked about this, haven't we, Laura, was made from horse wee. Horrible.
Oh.
So not very nice. So they took the hormones out of horse wee. Yeah. So, but it's completely different now. And it's plant-based hormones that they use, and they're very safe. And also, I don't think there's a few women, I think, that may have to take it orally for some reason, but oral is not the most prescribed way. You can do
Okay.
it in lots of different ways. You can have patches that I put them on my bum. Anywhere that's not got a lot of hair. Some people say, well, you don't really want it on your arm because everybody could see it, but you could put it on your arm. You could put it on your thigh. So you have patches and that's just transdermal and it's better. Or if that doesn't work, you can get a gel, which you rub on the inside of your thighs every day or every 2 days, whatever it is. And there's probably other things like sprays and creams and things. So there's lots of things out there you can use and lots of different strengths and lots of different types.
Yeah.
So you might have to try a few to find one that suits you and a dose that suits you.
Mhm.
But they are very safe these days, and it doesn't give you breast cancer at all. But it is important to still get checked regularly just to make sure, because you never can tell. And also, if you have breast cancer in the family, that doesn't mean to say that you can't take it because cancer is not hereditary. You may get it, people may get it in the same family, and mothers and daughters, yes, they may get it, but that's because they've got the same lifestyle. So if you make sure that you're eating healthy and you're doing all the right things, and you should be okay. But if you're worried, well, you'll have to talk to your doctor anyway. But try and get a menopause specialist. I was lucky at my doctor's because I had that. My mum had breast cancer, and so I was like, no, I can't take HRT. But it was my doctor that persuaded me to take it, to have it. And
Okay.
actually, because I don't have any ovaries anymore, because I have my hysterectomy, it's more or less essential. Um, so yeah, and it is safe.
Yeah.
So talk to your doctor. And again, if you've had cancer, also it doesn't rule it out automatically. So you really need to go and talk to your doctor and try and find a menopause specialist in your practice or somewhere to talk to, because they'll be the people in the know more than your GP will. Some
Yeah.
GPs are fabulous, and are clued up on it. They're getting better and better, thanks to people like Dr. Louise Newson, the menopause doctor, who's promoting it out there. But it's very slow trickling through. But yeah, you don't, it is a myth that it is dangerous and it gives you cancer, because it doesn't.
And with HRT, are you able to start taking it when you're still getting your periods? If you're getting the symptoms and you're, perimenopausal, can
Yeah.
you start taking it then, or do you have to wait? Or
No, you can take it when you're in perimenopause. Talk to your doctor, they'll talk to you about a dosage that's appropriate. And again, it might be trial and error, because obviously your hormones are going up and down. So it might not just be like a walk in the park, perfect, gets rid of the symptoms. It might do that for some people. But it'll definitely help make it better. It should do. It shouldn't make it worse. If it does make it worse, go straight back to your doctor, please. Stop taking it. But yeah, you can definitely take it in perimenopause.
brilliant. And how long can you be on HRT for? Is this something that you can take forever?
Rest of your
Or
life. Yeah.
okay,
There's
fab.
no reason that you
Yeah.
should stop taking it. I am so pleased.
Yeah, yeah, because there's that worry as well that if you had to stop, then all those symptoms would just come
Once
crashing
you've
back.
gone through menopause, I don't think they would, because people
Okay.
do stop taking it
Mm,
after they've gone through menopause, and they're postmenopausal. So there may be some side effects when you first come off it, and it may be just reduce the dose. I don't
yeah.
talk to the doctor, but you don't have to. And people like myself that have gone through surgical menopause, you can just be on it for as long as.
Brilliant.
What are the
I'll be in
benefits
the
of
news if they try and take it off me. Woman goes to war with the NHS.
Love it. We'll see Julia on all of our TVs egging the NHS. Sorry, Benny, what were you going to say?
what are the benefits of staying on it even if you've been through menopause?
There probably isn't any. If you've been through menopause and you're fine, then there probably isn't, but it is a personal choice in how people feel. So I would say there probably isn't a benefit, because apart from the fact that it will help with your bone health, but there's lots of other things you can do. So doing the resistance training, obviously, because one of the symptoms or side effects of going through menopause is osteoporosis. But if you eat the right foods and you do the strength resistance training, that'll keep your bones nice and strong as well. But somebody that's perhaps got, I don't know, family issues where it involves bone health, then they may choose to be on HRT
Yeah.
for that reason. Yeah. So talk to your doctors about it, and do your research. And if the doctor's going, no, you have to come off it, and you don't want to come off it, my suggestion is go on the Balance app, and listen to Dr. Louise Newson, and read all that, because there'll be loads of advice in there, because she says you don't have to come off it at all.
Brilliant. So you kind of touched on my next question, which was the long-term health conditions that come with menopause. So things like osteoporosis, heart disease, all the lovely things that you want.
So heart disease, I think that's a strange thing, because you get heart disease because you're not eating a healthy diet, because
Right.
of your diet, not really because you've been through menopause.
Yeah.
You do have a higher risk of chronic disease when you go through menopause, because estrogen has been your little warrior and has protected you all your life. And it's a fantastic thing that we've had all our lives to protect us. And when we go through menopause, we lose that, and our chances of getting chronic disease then comes in line with a man's, because all our lives, men's risk is higher than a woman's risk of getting chronic diseases. But once she's gone through menopause, it levels out and it's about the same. So you've got the same chance as your brother, your sister, your friends, your dad, once you've been through menopause. But if you eat a healthy diet, you exercise, Yeah, you should be fine. And stay away from sugar.
Sugar. That's the evil. We want more broccoli, less sugar.
Yeah.
I love sugar.
Oh,
The
no.
thing is, your taste buds actually renew every 12 days. And the funny thing is, once you stop doing the sugar, things don't taste sweet straight away. But after 12 days, you'll find that it gets easier and easier. And things like carrots start tasting sweet, really
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
And if you're baking, one of the substitutes for sugar, if you like baking and cooking, is things like courgettes, which you believe, and carrots and things like that that you wouldn't think of putting in cakes and things, but you have carrot cake. It actually makes it taste sweet.
Yeah.
And I can't eat normal chocolate anymore. I just take, I go, oh, so sweet. No.
Oh,
Milk chocolate, no.
so
I
you
don't
eat
touch it.
dark chocolate.
Yeah, 75% cocoa solids and above. Usually
Wow.
I get 85% green. There's a green and blacks, Lind. I like the green and blacks. And I actually like the oldie, because oldie inside you've got little chocolate bars, which are probably a bit much. So I have like half of one of those, and that's it. Yeah. And then
I just saw Sarah's face then when you mentioned it. It was just a grimace.
I've always loved dark chocolate though. So I've been a bit of a dark chocolate. So I would always go for the dark chocolate, not the milk chocolate.
Yeah.
But now, oh, and I think you know, those little white mice, I used to love those when I was a kiddie. And I think my grandchildren gave me one. I was going, oh, I can eat it. Oh, it's so full of sugar.
Fab. Okay. And then you touched on it a bit earlier. So support that's available. So you mentioned the Balance app.
Yeah, so Dr. Louise Newson set up Balance. There's a website, but there is an app. It's really good. There is a free version, and then if you want more support, I think there's a paid version. It's not, I think it's about £10 a month or something,
Yeah.
if you want a bit more support on there. But that's full of resources, and you can put, it's a symptom tracker. You can put in your symptoms, and you can monitor your symptoms by inputting them every week or every month. But it's got loads of articles in. So there's the Balance app, there's Davina McCall's book,
Yeah.
Menopausing,
That's in our book club this month.
fab, go get that. Dr. Louise Newson has a book out. I can't remember what it's called. And somebody just asked about home baking using sugar, coconut sugar.
Ooh,
You can get coconut sugar, which is a
Yeah.
good, it's still sugar, but it's not as bad as refined sugar.
great. So maybe that's
Oh,
what
you
I
can
need
use
to.
stevia. Yes, you can use stevia. But if you just want sugar, get coconut sugar.
So earlier I was saying to Julia that I wasted half of my day today because I went and treated myself to a flapjack, and it had so much sugar in it that I slept for about 3 hours from a sugar.
Yep.
So that's good to know. Coconut sugars, that
Yeah,
might be
that's
better.
better. Yeah.
I've got a bag in my
Also,
cupboard.
pardon?
I've got a bag of coconut sugar in my cupboard.
Yay!
Yay. There you go. You're on your way.
So you're going to be
So,
baking for us all, Bernie.
yeah. Next time we want cakes, please.
So would you use the same amount of coconut sugar as you would regular?
Well, I usually play around with it, and I do always try and reduce it a bit because I don't want to have too much.
Mm.
But when I'm first doing it, I probably use a similar amount and see how it is, and then the next time reduce it, and just see how much I need to put in there. So it's just experimentation, really. So it might be because it's going to be a bit of a different taste. You just use the same amount the first time, and then just see how you go.
Brilliant.
Lovely.
And things like mashed banana, would you believe? So I have porridge breakfast quite a lot, and just mashing the banana and putting that in actually provides the sugar, the sweetness.
Yeah.
So it's getting quite creative then with
Yeah,
foods and just
with
trying.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, honey, someone's asked. Is honey all right?
Yeah, because try and get as natural as possible and not processed. But yeah, honey is really good, and maple syrup, but real proper maple syrup.
Yeah.
And actually, if you go on Amazon and look up 45 degrees north, you have to buy your maple syrup by the amber color or something percentage. And there's lots of different types of maple. I didn't know this, but I was like,
No.
which one am I going to get? I just pick whichever one I want. Try them out. There's different. They go darker, I think. They're like there's paler and then it goes darker. Yeah, I don't know the difference in taste.
Oh, this sounds like a new obsession for me.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
maple syrup. So, and then just a little bit, if you just try and have as little as possible, but
Yeah,
natural sugar is better. Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
And things like grated apple,
Mm.
that'll sweeten anything up.
Yeah.
Carrots. I've not had carrot in my porridge though. I've not tried them.
Statue
yet.
farm? Controversial. Carrot or courgette? We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll try it out and we can all get back together and see what we think.
Yeah.
Fab.
Dr. Louise Newson's got a podcast as well. That's really good to listen to.
Okay.
Yeah. And Dr. Chatterjee, he does loads, not specifically on menopause, but a lot of it is around that. You can find lots of episodes around menopause. And the Zoe have a podcast. They're very good as well.
I love Zoe's stuff because it's coming from research, so
Yeah.
it's just fantastic. In terms of healthcare providers, where would you start with that? So you go to your GP.
Yeah.
Where else could you look for support if you're getting nowhere with your GP?
Quite a few, but not every NHS trust will have a menopause clinic.
Okay.
So you could see if you've got a menopause clinic, you could see if you've got a women's health clinic, and then just go to another GP. Just ask for a second opinion.
Yeah.
Just don't take the first answer. Do some research, and then go back and just keep trying if you're not getting what you want.
Yeah.
I think you down the phone, that works wonders.
Brilliant. Yeah. You owe it to yourself to be your biggest
advocate, really,
yeah.
don't you? Yeah, definitely. Go to war with them. Don't throw eggs at them though, just straight off bats. Yeah. Wait a few weeks before you do that.
Amazing. So we've got 7 minutes left. Is there any questions that anyone's got that they want to ask Julia that hasn't been answered or
obviously there's quite a large focus on diet. I'm a vegetarian, so is there anything that, and I've been a vegetarian for a really long time, and I was vegan for a long time. Is there anything that I've possibly missed out on that I should focus on a bit more when you're coming towards menopause?
No, you're probably doing very, very well, I should think. Iron, I would just make sure you've got enough iron. So if you get fatigued and you don't have a lot of energy, just look at your iron levels. But I eat a plant-based diet. Like, we recommend you only eat beef maximum 3 times a month anyway. So being vegetarian is perfect, really. Yeah, I'm sure you're doing very well. Do you eat, because you're not vegan, so you'll eat do you eat dairy products and eggs and
I'm not a lover of eggs. I've got a weird thing about eggs, but I do love I eat yogurt and cheese and milk.
Yeah. So you're probably getting everything that you need from being a vegetarian.
Good, that's all right then.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bernie. Any other questions? Anyone else? No, I think Julia's covered everything quite well.
Wow.
Brilliant. So I asked at the start, but I'm going to ask it again because I think it's quite a nice thing. So if there's one piece of advice you could give to women that are navigating this, what would you say it is?
Other than doing the research when they start it, talk about it. Talk to your friends, talk to your mother, talk to everybody, talk to your colleagues at work. Just get it out there and normalize it. And that support it's amazing just to know that somebody else is going through the same things, has been through similar things. And just to say, you know, I'll only last this long and you'll be okay, or I did this and this, just give you ideas. So, you know, just talk about it. We need to get the message out there and we need to normalize it. Yeah. And I think we haven't touched, there was a question in there that we haven't touched on, and that was like sexual health when you go through
Yes, because
menopause.
that's a big taboo as well, isn't it?
It
Anyway,
is.
for
Yeah.
women.
Yeah. And I like to say, you know, let people just put it out there that vaginal dryness. So
Yes.
that is a common thing. And I mentioned it to my girlfriends and they'll go, oh yeah. And I was like, all of you? Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I thought I suddenly developed an allergy to toilet paper. Oh my gosh. And if you get Davina McCall's book Menopausing, she talks about it in there.
Yeah.
And you can get vaginal estrogen, which you don't absorb into the rest of your body, and it's different to the patches. So and it makes such difference. Yeah. And it's not just about having sex, because, you know, it's about, you know, being comfortable, and it can be really, some women it's quite dry, and it, you know, just wearing knickers and pants and can be painful for them. So, you know, talk about it, and don't think you've got an allergy to toilet paper if you get a bit sore down below.
So that's one thing that I got from Davina's book that I thought was brilliant, was not being scared of using words like vaginal dryness.
Yeah.
When I listen to it when I go out for walks or I go running, and I came home and I stood in front of my husband and I went, vaginal dryness, and the look on his face was like, I was like, no, I'm going to say it again. You're
And they
gonna get
do
used to
need
these
to know,
words.
and they need to understand, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about support as well in different places, I had an experience a couple of days ago at the post office, which I mentioned to you, Julia, was
Yeah.
I was stood in the queue and I had a hot flush and it was horrendous. I felt like I was burning from the inside out and I couldn't control it, and the sweat just kept coming and coming, and then I had this whoomp, whoomp, whoomp in my head and I felt like I was going crazy. I couldn't concentrate. I was distracted. I managed to get up to the counter, did what I needed to do, and then I ran out of the post office. And I was stood outside trying to catch my breath. This little old lady walked past, bless her, and she looked at me and she goes, "You all right?" I said, no, I'm having a hot flash. It's just horrendous. She put her arm on my shoulder and she said, "You'll be all right. You'll get through it." And if it wasn't for that lady, I think I would have felt like the craziest person in town. But that just kind of made me feel like, okay, there's others that have gone through it and survived. It will be all right. As uncomfortable as it is, we'll get there. So yeah, it does help to talk, even to strangers.
Yeah,
Yeah. It shouldn't
definitely.
be it just shouldn't be a taboo subject. I don't know. I don't understand why women's health and or any sexual thing or periods or anything aren't
Yeah.
talked about like normal things. It's ridiculous.
And it shows as well with the amount of research that's gone into it that it just wasn't a high enough priority.
No.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's changing now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, fab. So we've got 1 minute left. So I just wanted to thank Julia so much for coming in and chatting to us. She is in our group, our Tribe of Wild Roses, and
Yeah.
she is on Facebook. She has a website and she is doing incredible things with women. So what's your website?
So it's mytreasuredlife.co.uk.
Fab. And I'm going to plaster this all over the group, all over my Facebook, because I want women to come and talk to you and to get the support and to get the right information so they don't feel crazy and they don't feel
Yeah.
alone. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed chatting to you all. It's been really good. Thank you.
Fab, ladies. I'll let you all go now, and Julia can get back to her
Sleep
bedtime.
hygiene.
Yes.
Fab.
All right, thank you everyone.
Lovely to see you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.